What's up, guys? I'm gonna go through some contractor's website in a certain area and a certain industry. Let's go. All right, landscaping, New York. We're doing it live. Let's get after it. All right, so we've got a landscaper in New York, and I'm guessing that they're just gonna put it right in New York City. And we have a few different options. So what I wanna do is, we've got 3 over here, and humans, like if there is somebody who has a review that's below 4-star on average, 50% of people will not pick them no matter what. So I'm gonna skip over the first 2 people because they're below 4.0. So they're way less likely to even get clicked on. So let's go ahead and start off with the new Eco Landscapes and see what they got website-wise. So again, the whole idea of this is to figure out, do they have a good website? Yes or no? What can they improve upon? And a lot of it really just comes from your gut. Let's go ahead and jump on into new Eco Landscape design and build. So first off, let's go with just the initial gut reaction. This is a fantastic looking website just from an initial standpoint. The image is nice and big. It's gorgeous looking pictures. It's a very simple design. If you notice at the top, like the logo doesn't stand out too much. Oh, it's pretty cool. When you hover over it, it actually lights up the image. So that's very well done. So I would say just from a consumer standpoint, initially, they have a good looking website and a good looking company. They probably do something more, I mean, it's in New York, so more urban-esque, but they do high-end urban-esque stuff. Very new age, very good looking. Now, a couple things that I would update is, first off, it's kind of hard to read what they're doing. So they say landscape design with sustainability in mind. So what I would do is I would almost put some sort of backdrop over, it's like a filter, if you will, over this picture to make the text stand out a little bit more by either darkening the text, or I'm sorry, darkening the background image, or adding a bit of a shadow to the text just so it stands out a little bit easier. And then they also need, when you come into a website, you need to guide people to the right direction. So what they're missing here is it has a nice big image, but what it doesn't have is it doesn't have any buttons or any directions on here's where you need to go next. Okay? So what it's effectively doing is it's just scrolling through these pictures, and I think that one doesn't have it. So this one doesn't have a title. So there's a bit of a discrepancy issue here where 4 out of the 5 images have text on it, but this one doesn't. But again, it's not that big of a deal, so I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not a big fan of scrolling images, mainly for the fact that we've done a bunch of testing on this, and most prospects don't ever scroll through this stuff. So you're adding extra stress onto the website to load fast, but nobody actually goes through this stuff per se. So I would just remove that and put a gallery image somewhere else. And the only other big change I would do to the main section is this contact in the top right. It's in the right location. However, it needs to stand out a little bit more. I know some people say, well, it's not that design friendly. However, at the end of the day, you can have gorgeous images, but if nobody knows how to contact you to hire you, you go out of business. So make sure that this is a button that stands out, and give them a button right in the center of the page in the main hero section. And you can even have 2 buttons, one that says contact us, and then one that says check out our work. Something that sells the product, sells the services that you provide. But otherwise, great first impression. Moving on down. Oh wow, it's a very short website. Since 2008, new Eco has been designing, building, and maintaining low impact and low maintenance landscapes in New York City and beyond. I like this. I like the branding. There needs to be more on this page. Just kind of breaks down who they are. All right, and also like this view projects button right here. This is what I'm talking about, what should be on that main image at the top that just gets people right in the door, okay? What you don't want to do is you want to guide people in the right direction, and you don't want them to have to go through all of your stuff, go through all your pages using your navigation at the top. That's there as a guide, but you want to do this yourself. You want to guide people down the right path, okay? So by just having view projects right here, you would actually want them, as they scrolled down the page, to see other options, not just view projects or use these menu items at the top. You want to guide them in the right direction yourself. So this is the button they want us to see. Let's check out their projects. Yeah, I like this. This is well done. What they're doing here is what most contractors do is they like to sell themselves. They like to say, here's why we're the best, here's why we're number one, and they do a lot of that. And there's a bit of that you need to do where it's called social proof, where you're building up a bit of credibility. However, people are here, prospects are here to hire you to renovate their space. They're here to renovate or upgrade their landscape or their roof or whatever it is. So you need to sell your product or your service first. Then you can worry about selling yourself. But by the fact that they're selling their projects by showing you pictures of what they can do, they're doing the exact right thing. They should be selling the services that they offer or the products that they can provide to you first. So let's go ahead and you click on this. This gets you to their, yeah, this is cool. So what this is doing here, oh, nice. This is just laying everything out. This is a very well done website, very design heavy. What they're doing is they're showing you, by showing design images, it almost sets their process for working together already off the bat without telling you. So what they're saying is, when you work with us, we are going to create renderings together. And then what they do is they show that when we work together, we'll figure out the right renderings, and then we'll actually create that in your space. And if you notice, it's very similar. They don't have a rendering that looks like it was done by a 5th grader, and then it looks completely different than what the actual images are. They're very, very similar. Okay, so the last thing that you want to do is have one of those like really poorly drawn like police sketches, where it looks like the dude that's seen the leprechaun. So by having something that looks very similar, it's going to be it's going to help you out big time. The big change I would say for this is, instead of having scrolling images like this, I would actually just have it almost as like a gallery that people can click on individual ones to kind of showcase how everything looks. And the only other big thing is under here is I would also talk about the prospect themselves, the customer themselves. And here's what I mean by that is, they said what started as a fully paved front and backyard has been transformed into an urban oasis. Greening and modernizing the outdoor space were goals. By simply doing this, they talk about the product, but what they should do is they should also talk about the pain that the customer was in. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to sell emotion. If you can sell emotion, then you can actually sell your services that much easier. But all they're doing here is they're simply just selling the product that they put in, which commoditizes them. So if you can talk about, this homeowner was very frustrated with how their backyard looked. It was just paved forward and backwards. It was frustrating because they're sick of the urban jungle all the time. They wanted a backyard oasis to relax in. So what started as a fully paved front and backyard, that's how they would do that. So what they want to do is, you want to talk about the problems that your customer is going through first, then talk about what you actually did to fix those problems, which was greening and modernizing the outdoor space. Okay? But all in all, very good job on showing these things. Let's go ahead and see what services they offer, just to see how they lay these out. Landscape design services. I like how they have this laid out where it's pretty easy. However, if you see, it's cut off. This is not, it looks like somebody just set this up and either something broke, or whoever created this website just didn't go back and double check their work. But this kind of overlaps each other. It's not a good feeling if you're a prospect looking at this stuff, just because if you're looking at this and you go, well, you know, it looks like their website's mostly good, but there are some issues. It's kind of like why they have 4.4 stars. It's like they're mostly good, but they do frustrate some people. So it kind of ties the two together, unfortunately. So if we click on landscape design, building your yard, a connected crew, attention to detail. I like that they have pictures here to show what they do. I would let these expand out a little bit so people can see it. And the other thing is, on this section where it says landscape design services, this should actually be on the home page below that main image. The whole goal of that is to get them to the next page in the right direction. So by letting people actually choose between these 5 options, it lets them choose their own path, which provides a much better experience for potential customers. All right, so back to the landscape design or landscape construction. As they're coming through, a one-stop shop that combines fine craftsmanship with the use of innovative technology, like that. Building your garden, there's a lot of persuasive tactics that this page is missing. They do a good job of making it very clean. White space is the new common trend for websites. However, what they need to be doing is they're just saying attention to detail. We pride ourselves on our attention to detail, fine craftsmanship, and true professionalism. And now ask yourself this. No matter what industry you're in, how many of your competitors also say the exact same thing. Every single one. Every single person talks about quality service, quality products. They all use the same buzzwords, but what they don't do is they don't show it. So attention to detail, how do you show you have attention to detail? You could show close-ups of, like graphically or using images to show your attention to detail. You could use testimonials, like put a testimonial from a past customer on here that talks about, they came in, everything is perfect, they went over every detail with a fine-tooth comb, things like that. So you need to show attention to detail. You need to show you have a connected crew with great communication. Great, show that. Show the crew, show who's working on these projects. So, or how you communicate. A lot of remodelers use like Builder Trend, stuff like that. That is a fantastic tool to communicate with prospects or clients at that point. Show that you use that, so you're not just saying you communicate well, you're showing you communicate well, okay? And at the bottom, instead of saying back to services, you want to then, the whole goal of this is to get somebody to call you or to fill out your form. So by taking you back to the services, that's not what you want people to do. You want people to come into your website. You want them to learn about the products or services that you provide. You want them to learn about who's putting those in, and then you want them to call you. So what they've done is they know what you can do, they know who's doing it, things like that, before calling you, because you're building trust the whole time. So here, I would actually, instead of back to services, I would put a button that says, learn about us, meet the team, something like that, okay? So let's go ahead and see the About Us page. About Us pages are actually it's top 3 most visited pages on contractors' websites. Home page is number 1, gallery is number 2, number 3 is the About Us page, because people want to know who's stepping into their home. All right, so we've got Jesse. Yeah, so if there's a team behind it, you want to show the rest of the team. Unless they're all subs, Jesse looks like a person that you can trust. He's in his element here. He's LEED certified, specializes in all this other stuff. That's great. It's okay. Let me see. Is the actual About Us page? You need to describe your why. Why do you do what you do? You saying, "Oh, I like to help customers out," is not enough. You actually need to talk about what makes you want to be in this industry and what makes you want to help customers. So, sustainability-minded landscape design, build a company since inception. We've been doing this, headquarters. So, everything's all about sustainability. So, if Jesse talked about the fact, he said, look, I love 2 things. I love green and I love making the world a better place. So what have I done? I've actually combined those two hobbies or those 2 passions into a business, which is I can provide greenery, which is landscaping in urban areas, with sustainability in mind. So if you talk about that, you talk about your why, which I'm sure Jesse, because he keeps talking about sustainability, he probably naturally likes that stuff, but because he doesn't talk about that, his why gets lost, and then half his message gets lost. So you need to talk about that, and just by saying specializes in rainwater harvesting, low impact, energy efficient building practices, that's fine. Why does that matter to Jesse? That's a big part of it, okay? Press. Let's see what we got for press. Press is a good one, because what this does is this shows credibility, street cred. This is an awesome page to have if you've got it. Okay, so I love the fact that he has that in there. Last but not least, let's check out the contact page. We love hearing from you. Okay, so let's talk about this aspect, because these are always messed up. So what you need, again, is you need the least amount of information to make a informed phone call to somebody to follow up. So you're going to need name, email, phone number, and then maybe a basic project description, because with New York Borough neighborhood, you can just ask that person, okay? Or instead of making them type out the borough neighborhood, make them type out just the zip code, okay? And then here's one of the biggest faux pas is, what is your budget range? And here is why. Because everybody goes low. Everybody drops down low for what their actual budget is, so they want to always undercut it. And then it also says, like, to the customer, like, well, what if you're too low? Like, what if I'm too low for you? Are you actually gonna call me back? So this is a basic call that when you talk to somebody, when you talk to a prospect, you can just ask them, hey, what's your budget? But when you put it on this, nobody ever fills this out accurately, okay? Or if they do fill it out accurately, their budget might be $15,000, but in reality, their actual project is going to cost $50,000. So all in all, this website it's well done. I like how they've set it up. It looks beautiful. However, they just need a few more aspects that will really sell what they do and guide people in the right direction, and they should be good to go. So all in all, Nico, love it. Looks good. And if you enjoyed this, do me a favor in the comments below, type in more website reviews, and I'll keep doing this just to kind of show you what's working and what's not. Catch you next time. Thank you.